The rescue team froze the moment they saw the tiny helmet lights stop moving on their tracker. Deep under the earth, in a labyrinth no human was ever meant to enter, a young boy's breathing slowed to almost nothing. And as the icy water began rising inside the cave, one terrifying truth hit everyone watching: they were going to lose him, unless someone was brave enough to attempt a rescue that had already killed 3 professionals. What happened next became one of the most unbelievable cave rescues the world has ever seen. When 17-year-old Liam Parker convinced his friends to explore the narrow chambers of Devil's Throat Cave, nobody realized the decision would change dozens of lives. Liam wasn't a reckless kid. He was bright, curious, the kind of teenager who read adventure books and dreamed of becoming a geologist. His best friend Noah always said Liam had a mind made of maps, always imagining what lay behind the next turn. That morning, the group of 4 friends entered the cave expecting nothing more than a fun weekend adventure. They had helmets, lights, ropes, and a basic guide. But excitement slowly turned into worry when they reached a tight passage called the Serpent's Belly. The guide warned people not to crawl inside during rainy conditions. The boys ignored it. After all, the sky above seemed clear. What they didn't know was that, miles away, heavy rain had already begun falling in the mountains, water silently flowing underground, rushing toward the very tunnels they were crawling through. Liam went first, sliding on his stomach through a long, suffocating squeeze barely wide enough for a human body. He kept joking to calm the others, but inside, even he felt the rising anxiety of being trapped inside a stone coffin. Halfway through, his helmet scraped the ceiling, and the sound echoed like a warning. Noah called out from behind, "You good up there?" "Yeah, just tight. Almost through," Liam shouted back, though he wasn't sure, and then the first sign of danger arrived, a soft rumbling. At first, the boys thought it was just the cave settling. But the rumbling grew into a low, continuous roar. A cold puff of air blew across Liam's hands. That's when he saw it, water, dark and fast, rushing toward him. "Noah! Water! It's coming in fast!" Panic cracked through the group. The cave was turning into a death trap. Liam tried to push forward, but the walls narrowed even more. He twisted, scraped, and pulled, but his body wouldn't move. The water hit his boots. Then his legs. Then his chest. He was stuck. The boys behind him shouted, trying to crawl backward, trying to help, but the space was too tight. Liam felt freezing water fill the passage, rising inch by inch. His chest tightened. His breath quickened. And then, for the first time in his life, Liam thought, "I'm not getting out." Meanwhile, outside the cave, the boys who managed to escape ran for help, screaming to the villagers that their friend was drowning underground. News spread like wildfire. Within an hour, trained rescuers arrived, men and women who had seen terrifying cave accidents before but never one like this. When they reached Liam's location using scanners and underground sensors, they realized something shocking. Liam wasn't just stuck. He was pinned in one of the narrowest, most unstable passages in the entire cave, with rising water that could reach his face at any moment. Every moment risked collapse. Chief Rescuer Mark Dalton stared at the map in silence. "If we go in head first, we can't turn around. If we go in feet first, we can't reach him. Either way, one wrong move and we bury the kid alive." But backing out wasn't an option. Time was killing Liam. So Mark made a decision that shocked his entire team. "I'm going in alone," he said. "No one else fits through that tunnel. And if he panics if the cave shifts, I need to be the one there." Everyone knew Mark had lost a son years ago in a hiking accident. Saving Liam wasn't just a mission. It was redemption. With a deep breath and a whispered prayer, Mark crawled into the darkness. What happened next would test the limits of human courage. Mark felt the walls of the tunnel squeeze his ribs as he entered the serpent's belly. His helmet scraped the ceiling. His heartbeat echoed louder than the dripping water. He knew the rain above hadn't stopped. The water level was rising by the minute. The passage twisted sharply, and Mark's shoulder got stuck. He exhaled all the air from his lungs to flatten his chest and pushed forward again. Every inch felt like it took years. His breathing slowed. His fingers trembled. His light flickered, twice. Then he heard it, a faint, weak voice. "Hello? Is someone there?" Mark felt his throat tighten. "Liam. I'm here. Stay awake, kid. I'm coming." When he finally reached Liam, he understood why rescuers above were terrified. Liam was stuck at an angle, his chest wedged between two stone slabs. Water covered one side of his face, forcing him to turn his head just to breathe. Liam's lips were purple. His hands were shaking. But he was alive. Mark did a quick test. Liam wasn't stuck by his clothes, he was stuck by bone. His ribs were compressed by rock. One wrong pull could break them. If they broke inward, Liam could drown in his own blood before they got him out. Above ground, teams worked to redirect water away from the cave. But nature doesn't wait. Water kept coming, faster and colder. Mark had only minutes. He cupped Liam's cheek with his gloved hand. "Listen to me. This will hurt. You're going to think you'll pass out. But I need you to trust me." Liam nodded weakly. Mark unclipped his only rescue jack, a small metal tool designed to lift rock by millimeters. It wasn't enough. He needed centimeters. Every rescuer above knew this was a gamble. And Mark might die with him if the rock shifted. He braced his boots, positioned the jack, tightened it, and cracked out a tiny movement. A few grains of sand fell. Liam screamed in pain. The stone pressed harder on his ribs before easing, but he was still trapped. Mark whispered, "Stay with me, kid. One more try." He tightened the jack again. This time, the cave responded with a deep groan. Mark froze. If the ceiling collapsed, they would both vanish under hundreds of tons of rock. But he pushed. The stone lifted, barely, but enough. "Liam, twist your body. Now!" With every shred of strength he had left, Liam turned. The pressure on his ribs released. His body slid forward an inch, then another, and suddenly he was free. But the water was now flooding the passage behind them. Mark grabbed Liam's arm. "Move! Don't stop or we don't make it!" The two crawled through the suffocating tunnel as the water surged, swallowing the space they had just left. Liam coughed and cried from pain, but Mark didn't let go. They reached the wider chamber just as the tunnel filled completely, roaring like a monster claiming its prey. Hours later, when the team finally carried Liam out of the cave, his mother collapsed in tears. Mark stepped aside quietly, exhausted, covered in mud, shaking with emotion. Liam's mother saw him and hugged him so tightly he couldn't breathe. "You didn't just save my son, you saved all of us." Mark only whispered, "He saved himself. I just helped." The rescue was called impossible. It made global headlines. But to Mark, it was something greater, a chance to give a boy the life his own son never had. And for Liam, that day didn't just change his life. It gave him a new purpose. He later trained as a cave